All right, guys. So when you're building Node and Express applications or Node, any kind of Node application, you can basically either render your views on the server using a template engine or just using whatever HTML files, or you could use a different front end framework like React or Angular, and then you could just use your back end to return JSON or whatever and build full stack applications. But that gets a little more complicated. What we're doing is we're rendering our templates on the server. So we need some kind of template engine to do that. And there's quite a few of them. The one that I like the best is Handlebars. I think that it's the easiest to use. There's a module called Express Handlebars, which really integrates nicely with Express. But basically, this is the syntax. So we have our HTML, and if we want to use any dynamic variables that we send from from our application, we can just wrap them in these double curly braces. So if you've ever used Angular or React, even though I think React only uses one, but it's basically the same idea. You can send dynamic variables to your template. All right, you can also do loops. You can do each loops. You can do conditionals. There's all types of things you can do. Now this is just the basic Handlebars JS website. The actual module we're going to be using is called Express Handlebars, which integrates well with Express. So we're going to go ahead and install it with this command, and then we're going to require it, and then we just need to add some middleware, and then we can simply render templates. All right, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, as far as other template engines, you have EJS or embedded JavaScript, which is really nice. You can use just regular HTML. Putting in variables is a little different. Instead of the handlebars or the curly braces, you use this syntax. So you use the angle brackets and percent signs, which is a little weird, but I've used this before and I do like it. Another one is Pug, formerly known as Jade, which I really don't like because it doesn't use regular HTML. Okay, what it does is it uses this indentation syntax. So for example, if we want a head tag to be inside of an HTML tag, we need to just indent it. Okay, there's no angle brackets, there's no ending tags, you just need to use indentation, which some people do like. I don't know, I've never taken a liking to this syntax. I'd much rather use regular HTML. So it's all up to you what you want to use, but in this course we're going to be using Handlebars. All right, so let's go ahead and install this Express Handlebars module. All right, so let's go ahead and stop our server with Control C, and we'll go ahead and clear this out, and we'll say npm install, and it's going to be express dash handlebars, and you want to make sure you do -- save. All right, that'll add it to the package.json file. And I should mention that you don't have to stop your server. You can open up another terminal, install your modules. I just like to stop it to install anything. All right, but let's go ahead and start it back up with NodeMon. And what we're going to do is bring the Handlebars module in. So if we look at the documentation, we're going to bring it in as EXP HBS, so Express Handlebars. So I'm just going to grab that, and we'll put that right there, except I'm going to use const, not var. And then we need to put the middleware in. So like I said, a lot of the modules we're using contain their own middleware. So let's go right here and we'll say handlebars middleware. All right, we'll grab it right here, these two lines, and copy. Okay. So basically what we're doing here is we're just telling the system that we want to use the Handlebars template engine. All right, and then right here we're saying we want to set the default layout to main. Okay, and I'll explain layouts in a minute. I just want to put this on a different, I just want to put that like that. Now, I'm not sure about this project. I don't think so, but in the next project, which is a little more difficult, we're going to be creating our own Handlebars helpers. Okay, you can actually create helpers to do pretty much anything. Okay, you can just add custom JavaScript and then basically have your own tag inside the template. All right, but this is setting the engine to Handlebars. Now, if we go down to, let's say, our index route, and we change this send to render. Okay, so res.render, and let's say index, okay, lowercase, and save. And if we reload, what it's going to say is it failed to look up the view index in the views directory. So by default, Handlebars uses or Express uses the views directory. So we need to create this. So let's go over here in our application and create a views directory or views folder. And in here, we're going to create a file called index.handlebars. Okay, and inside here, for now, let's just put an H1. Now I'm using Emmet. I'm able to just do H1 and then tab. VS Code comes default with Emmet. If you want to use Emmet with like Atom or Sublime Text or anything like that, you'll have to install it as a plugin. So let's just say, we'll just say welcome. Okay, and we'll save. Let's go back over here and reload. And what it's doing now is it's basically saying it can't find the layout file main. Okay, now remember, we specified main as the name of the layout. So what we need to do is go over to views, create a folder inside there called layouts. Okay, and then inside here create a file called main.handlebars. Okay, now what a layout is it's basically a view that wraps around all of your other views, because you're going to have things like the doc type, like the head tags with the title. You're not going to want to include that on every single view. So you want to create a main view to put all that stuff, things you want on every page, and then just insert your other views into that one. So let's create just a basic HTML structure here. So I'll use Emmet and do exclamation and then tab. And then let's change this title to, let's say, vidjot. All right, and if we save this and we go over here and reload, you'll see that now we have the title vidjot. If we look at the source, you'll see all of this stuff. Now, what we're not seeing is the index view. We're not seeing the H1. The reason for that is we need to go right where we want to output our views and put in triple curly braces and body. That's going to output whatever view is being loaded. So let's save. Let's go back and reload, and now we can see our welcome. All right, so let's go ahead and create another view. So we want to go in the views folder, not in the layouts, in the views, and create an about.handlebars. And we'll just put an H1 in here, and we'll say about, save, and then let's go back to our app.js, go down to our about route, and then change this to res.render. And we want to render about. And save. And now if we go to /about, you'll see we get our about view. Okay, so it's as easy as that now to create routes and views. Now we can also pass dynamic data into our view. So what I'm going to do is go to our index route. I'm going to create a variable here called title and set it to welcome. Okay, and then to pass that in to our view here, what we can do is put a second parameter of an object, and we can say title, and we'll set that to that variable of title. So if we save that and we go into our index handlebars view and then replace this with our double curly braces and then title, and then save and go back to our index. Now it still says welcome, but if I were to go and change this variable to, let's say, welcome1 and save and reload, now we get welcome1. So this is how we pass data into our view. Now later on when we get into working with the database, we're going to fetch from the database, and then we can pass the results into the view, and that's how we can insert data from the database into the view. Okay, but that's not for a little bit. Now in the next video, I want to start to make this application look a little better by adding Bootstrap. Okay, we're going to use Bootstrap 4. I want to add a nav bar so that we can have some navigation. We can go between the index and the about page. And then of course later on we'll install Mongoose, and we'll be able to deal with our database. We'll be able to add video ideas and fetch them, and we'll build an application. All right, so I will see you in the next video.